Hi there, John here from rchelicopterfun.com. As you may know, I've been thinking of carrying a Trex 600ESP clone for quite some time, and I found these PhoenixTech ones. So just going to open the box so you can see what you would get if you got one of these 600ESP clones. They do come double boxed, as you can see. And so we'll get rid of that. So that's the box it comes in. I'll cut that open and we'll see what's inside the box here. So let's start with the Canopy, see what it looks like. Again, if I do bring these in, or when I bring them in, I may offer kits without the Canopy for people who are just thinking of using them for scale, which might save a few bucks, but actually the Canopy is pretty nice. I've seen other clone canopies and their paint job's pretty nice on this one, so it's a decent canopy. As you can see, there's no individual boxes like Align had with their 600, but all the components are pretty nicely packaged. This appears to be the bottom tray and the front tray that we're also familiar with on the 600ESP. Basic set of landing skids. Comes with the, there, we'll just open this up. So, comes with the aluminum landing skids. They're black, anodized black. There's no name or anything on them. Again, for scale, you won't even need this. Comes with the skid nuts and the little end plugs for the skids. And then, of course, the mounting screws for the actual struts themselves, and they're pretty decent, beefy 600 ESP clone type struts. So we'll look at the tail drive here. This looks to be an exact copy again of the ESP 600 ESPs. Even the gearing is nice and smooth. So that's fit together. So just the tail drive. Look at the fins here. I'm actually kind of interested to see what the diameter of them, or the thickness is. So that's the tail fin. I'm curious if it's 1.5 or 2. And it is 2 millimeters, it looks like. So they are using 2 millimeter carbon, not the 1.5 millimeter that the 600 ESP used. We'll check the frames as well here. Looks like a decent set of cloned ESP frames. Actually very nice. Extremely stiff. I'll just take a peek here. Yeah, definitely 2 mil. So, they are the thicker frames. Not the 1.5 that the ESP originally came with. And bell crank bearings are already pressed in place. Again, pretty standard. Let's see what we've got here. Looks like our little box of goodies. Another thing you'll notice is I don't see any instructions in here. So these kits don't come with instructions, but they are standard 600 ESP instructions which you can get online. So anyways, we've got a blade holder, Futaba wheel set, which is kind of cool. So as long as you've got the Futaba or a Futaba-like spline servo, you've already comes with the wheel set. Nice assortment of zip straps. Lots of zip ties. Velcros for the LiPo batteries. What else do we have in here? Looks like some kind of a canopy mount. Not too sure what that one might be. And that's the elevator servo. And there's all the little the carbon fiber servo plates, the anchor plates. Very nice. Nicer cut than Align's are. Very sharp edges. So that looks pretty all decent. Let's take a peek at the boom. So it's just your standard aluminum boom. It's not a carbon fiber boom. Again, that was standard on the ESP as well. So a no frills anodized, black anodized aluminum 600 tail boom. No writing or anything on it. Torque tube. Oh, that's interesting. They've actually got little set screws. They're not set screws, little button screws on the spline ends of the torque tube. These are threaded in actually, and they're threaded in so they actually tighten as this turns. And usually you don't see that, but hey, it's kind of neat that they've done that. And obviously the center bearing is already on there because those little nuts are on there, or those little button screws. But you could just pop one of those off, I suppose, if you wanted to, whenever you want to change the bearing out. Metal push rod for your tail, for the tail or the tail rotor, which is kind of neat on scale because a lot of scale applications, because the fiberglass canopy or tail boom narrows down at the end, sometimes you want a little flex in that push rod, so because it will sometimes be pressing right against the inside of the fiberglass, and a big carbon rod won't allow you to do that as easy. So for scale applications, I kind of like a metal push rod over a carbon fiber rod. Let's take a look at the blades. Very nice. Beautiful finish. Kind of a neat pattern on it. Just measure the blade root thickness. So 12 millimeters, identical to the 600s. And obviously probably a 4 millimeter hole, or a 4 millimeter for a 4 mil. So blades are nice. We'll have to see how they balance up, but yeah, the finish on them is decent. They're light, they're super stiff. So that's pretty cool. Nice blades. Now we're making a mess here. Let's go to the rotor head, which looks really decent. So you can get these kit and flybar versions too, but I think most people will be getting them in flybarless. Very nice head. It's got the built-in the swash followers or the washouts, whatever you want to call them. Linkages are all on. Again, I totally advise taking this all apart and ensuring there's plenty of grease in there in the thrust bearings and everything's Loctited properly. But that would be standard for any build. There's the push rods and the linkages as well that come with the head. So it's a good looking head. It's not black, it's silver aluminum, which has been anodized. So for scale, that's nice. And it also, if you wanted to go to the trouble of painting it on some kind of a scale build, I suppose you could. I don't like painting heads though. I find the paint just causes more problems than it's worth. Here's the motor mount. Oh, and it does come with a pinion. It's a 15-tooth pinion. It's not slant geared or anything. Again, identical to the Trex 600 ESP in that respect. There's the little servo holders for the side servos, the pitch and the aileron. Pretty basic, again, 600 ESP type mast. Okay, it's hollow. There's the retaining collar, again, just like on the 600 ESP. Here's your gear set. And once I get this together, I'll have a better idea of how good the gears are. A lot of clones, that seems to be their downfall, is the gears are out of round and you get really high and low spots. You'll get that a little bit with anything, but clones are notoriously bad for it. But again, that's just a standard copy of a 600 ESP main and tail gear drive. Swash plate is all silver, not black. And nice swash. You've got the slightly longer balls for the bell crank, or the washout cranks, and then the shorter ones are for your control rods that go up to the blade grips. Look at the tail drive. It actually looks pretty nice. So it's all metal grips, unlike the 600 ESP. It actually comes with a metal control arm, which is nice. The 600 ESP and some other clones I've seen with these are plastic, so it is kind of neat to see a metal control arm there. Nice and smooth. Bearings feel good. So nice tail drive. It's kind of neat. The pitch slider, the block there is square, which is kind of cool. Normally those are round. It doesn't mean anything, but again, just a nice copy of a ESP 600 ESP tail drive. Speaking of tail, comes with plastic tail rotors or tail blades. Actually, let's just take a peek and see if these are 5mm. If the roots are 5mm, yes they are, which is what you want to see on a 600. Here's your main rotor shaft or main mast bearing blocks. Again, perfect copy pretty much of the 600 ESPs. Got the little recessed washers. So that's neat to see. What do we have here? This is your bell crank hardware. And of course the most important thing, why so many of us like the 600 ESP for scale, is it's got the integrated elevator arm that also is your anti-rotation device for your swash plate. So, again, I would recommend, these are all threaded in, but they're not tight or anything. So, you know, you're going to have to pull all this apart and Loctite it properly. And then, of course, the bell cranks for your pitch and elevator servos. No frills there, but nice looking job on them. And what do we have left? We've got, here's the tail. Oh, I guess the other thing, yeah, I didn't look at wherever they are. I know I saw them in here. Oh, here they are. These are your boom braces. Carbon fiber with the aluminum ends pinned onto the ends. Obviously, if you're doing scale, you won't be using those, but for your test flights, after you build this, before you put it in the body, of course you will probably. Metal braces for the tail servo. Tail servo does mount on the tail, just like on the standard 600 ESP. And then here's your horizontal fin mount. And that pretty much goes over everything that's in the kit. So hopefully that'll give you a better idea. I'm going to be doing a full review on this once I put it together, and we'll be going over a build. Might be doing a build video. I'm not sure yet if I'll be doing that or not. Most people, this is pretty straightforward to them, but I guess if there's enough demand for it, I might do a build video. But otherwise, I'll just be doing a review. So thanks for watching. Hopefully that gives you an idea of what the PhoenixTech 600 ESP clone kit is all about.